Always a pleasure to welcome Ken Bolke from Sinbin Vegas to the show to talk a little bit about the Golden Knights, who are off to just a great start this year. And I've said on this show a couple of times now, my oversight for this Golden Knights team coming into the year was underrating what a full year of Hurdle and Hanifin and a healthy Stone could do. But I want to look at some different parts of the lineup. What have been sort of the more underlying or underrated contributors to this 8-3-1 start?
I think power play is probably the biggest one. They have been bad for 7 years. The Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup, and the power play wasn't good. And now it's clicking. It's a legitimate weapon. I think Hurdle's a huge part of that. Put him in the bumper, and then you have Eichel and Stone on that left side. It's like very, very dangerous. And then I would say just their unbelievable shooting percentage. Like, it's out of control. I think they're over 15%. They're almost 20% at home. It's been unbelievable how it's actually accuracy too. Like, it's not just they're making all these shots. When they're shooting, they're hitting corners at an unbelievable rate. I don't think that's going to continue, but hey, so far so good.
Ken, did you ever think the Golden Knights would be in a spot where they wouldn't even blink missing Jonathan Marchessault? I mean, I just look at like Ivan Barbashev. I knew really good player, and he's been a good fit for this team, but like that line has been so good. I couldn't imagine this spot right now, them saying, Jonathan who?
I don't know that I would go that far yet, because the scoring is up across the league. Like, they do typically score at the beginning of seasons. It has been kind of down the road. And then also the other thing to me is like what they miss from Marchessault is something that I think we're going to see when they do go through a downturn. It's like, what does it look like if the team starts to struggle? He was kind of the guy that would pull them out. He was the guy that would score that big goal. He's the guy that's a goof during morning skate and keeping things light. And morning skates are quieter. It's not possible that they could have been louder without him. But I don't know that yet you can fully say it. That being said, you're 100% right that you look down, up and down the lineup, you look at how they're scoring, and you say they don't need that player at this moment. I do think that day may come, though.
What do you make of the play from Aiden Hill to this point?
It's been okay to not quite good enough. I think when they play well in front of him, he's going to get the job done, and he's kind of proven that over the course of time. Certainly in the playoffs, the year that they made the run to the Cup, he was even pretty good in the couple of games that they had him in there at the back end of the Dallas series last year. But when things kind of fall apart in front of them and their rush defense hasn't been very good, they haven't been exiting the zone quite as well as they typically do, he's not the type of guy that's going to bail you out. And I think that's where you start to see kind of why he was passed around the league a little bit before he got to the Golden Knights, why it was a 4th-round pick for him to get here, and why that contract is still, they only did a couple years on that contract, and he still doesn't have one at the moment. So it hasn't been as bad as some of the numbers say. Like, I think he's near the bottom of the league in expected goals against, which that seems a little bit rough to me, but he certainly hasn't been a huge reason why they're winning. He really hasn't been much a reason at all that they're winning. I don't think there's been a single game that they've won because of the goalie.
So let's just play a little game of speculation here, because a lot of people around the league tend to think, oh, well, if somehow Igor Shesterkin makes it to market, that the Golden Knights, there may be one team that could actually be in the mix to match what the Rangers have already put on the table or exceed it because of the no state income tax difference. I look at Vegas and the way that they've more or less aligned their goaltending to this point, and that doesn't seem to be their organizational philosophy, would be to spend a ton. Where do you come out on that?
They've kind of been all over the place when it comes to that, because it's been the same front office the entire time. It switched a little bit there where McCrimmon became the general manager. But at the beginning, it was like, yeah, let's pay whatever we need to pay to keep Marc-Andre Fleury. Then they switched coaches, and now it's like, well, Fleury's got to go. Let's get somebody bigger. It was Leonard. They signed Leonard to a contract that nobody else was willing to sign Leonard to a contract to. Then they start to kind of shift and say, we need 2 goalies, and they go down this new road of having Brossoit and Thompson and Hill, and that was good until the injuries hit. And then they paid Hill. So they are paying goalies. Are they willing to go 10 million? What's Shesterkin going to be? 11, 12?
He turned down 11 times 8.
Yeah. So like how they find that money with all of what they have locked up on the defense. I don't see that happening, but I wouldn't sit here and say, I think it's like a philosophical thing to say they won't spend on goaltending. I think they would, but I don't know that the way it's set up with as much as they have with those 3 defensemen that it's even possible.
There's only one thing I know about the Golden Knights, and that's they love the shiny new toy.
They do.
Whatever that is, they just seem to be like absolutely attracted to it.
You know what else they love, or they don't love, is you saying that they love the shiny toy. They actually really hate that. I also say it all the time because it's right, it's clear. But
they also referred to me as Dr. Seravalli for a while. So I mean,
I still do.
Probably a lot of things that they don't like.
I've never written your name on the site since then without the doctor there. And then one time I put it in quotes, and I got mad about it because it's not in quotes. You were actually referred to as Dr. Seravalli. Was it the team or Robin?
It was Robin Leonard, but I'm sure they.
Oh, they backed it up. Okay, that makes sense.
Ken, always a pleasure, man, to have you on the show. Thanks for doing this. We'll chat soon.
Have a good one.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.